with us today. He's our compliance officer for the Small Business Office. My name is Tony Pinkham. I am the SBE certification specialist in the Small Business Office. We're going to go through a couple items today. First thing Jose is going to go through here is a quick little safety moment, but also talk about how to do business with RTD. Anybody could do business with RTD with or without the SBE certification. So Jose is going to kind of detail that, how you could, look for contract solicitations, how to use OpenGov, things of that nature. And then I'm going to do a quick little presentation on the SBE certification. So if you do have any interest in our free SBE certification, I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth and let you know how you could apply for that certification. So a couple of housekeeping items here for today's meeting. Please keep your microphone muted. Your microphone will be muted unless you unmute yourself to ask questions. Please avoid the background noise. Introduce yourself in the chat. Just go ahead, type in your contact information, what your company does, and we'll distribute the chat transcripts to all the attendees of this meeting. If you do have any questions throughout the presentation, just raise your hand, and then we will definitely get your questions addressed. So with that being said, this meeting is being recorded, so to have it as an available resource, by being in this meeting, you are consenting to being recorded, and we will send out the video as well upon request from anybody who needs it. So with that being said, I'm going to let Jose start this meeting off with a quick little safety moment and then drop right into how to do business with RTD.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. And yes, I'm Jose Chirino, Small Business Office Compliance Officer. Quick safety moment for today is going to be about extreme heat safety. With high temperatures, with these high temperatures lately, we need to watch out for hydration and make sure that we don't suffer from heat illness, avoid heat illness. So a couple tips are to stay hydrated. It's better to drink a lot of water throughout the day, small sips of water throughout the day to make sure that you are hydrating instead of drinking big gulps of water in short periods of time. If avoid sugary and caffeinated and alcoholic drinks in those days. If you are sweating a lot, try to eat some snacks or sports drinks to replace minerals and salts. And lastly, if you try to avoid being outside when we have these extreme heat waves. And if you must go outside, try to schedule your activities for early in the morning or late in the afternoon. So, like Tony mentioned, I'm going to start talking to you guys about doing business with RTD, what you need to know, what you need to do to start doing business with RTD, and where you can go to find the information and how to go about that. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to do business with RTD, you need to register with us as a vendor. It doesn't matter, your certification status. You need to be registered with RTD in order to be able to do business with RTD. So first things you need to do is go to rtd-denver.com. When you go to our website and you scroll all the way to the bottom of that first page, you're going to see doing business with RTD. You need to click on that link and it's gonna take you to this page that you see right now. Once you're here doing business with RTD, you're just gonna click on establishing business with RTD. So a couple things about this system that we use, which is OpenGov. It's free of charge for you guys to get registered with us. It allows you to get notifications from RTD directly regarding invitations for bid, requests for proposals, requests for quotations. So you get notifications about specific contracts that might interest you. You're able to download, upload bids and proposals, submit questions on active solicitations, and look for other interest firms to partner. So there's plenty of things that you can do there. I'm going to show you that in a couple minutes. But first thing you need to do is, like you can see here, establishing your business with RTD. So once you click on that link, it's going to take you to this page where it's going to ask you for an email address. Again, there's no cost attached to the getting registered with us as a vendor. So all you need to do at first is just input your email address and click sign up. And then you click subscribe button to stay up to date with RTD solicitations. It's going to show you the RTD subscribe button. So once you do that, it's very important that you follow up with the email that you're going to receive. Once you do that, the system will send you an email that to ask you to activate your account. So you need to set up your account. You're going to be able to input a lot of information. I'm going to go over that in a second, but please make sure to check your inbox. If it's not there, it could be in your spam box. But until you activate the account and you click on that email and you activate it, you really haven't done anything just yet. We have a lot of people registered with OpenGov, but they don't follow through with the email, and they need to activate the account once they receive the email. So please make sure to check for that email in your inbox or your spam box if that's the case, if you don't see it in your inbox. Once you're there and you start activating your account, it's going to ask you for the specifics about your company, your name, last name, company phone number. These are the basic steps. This is the basic information that you need to have in the system so you are active on the system. Once you are active on the system, you can set up your profile. So that third step here is going to get you active on the system. You're going to be able to see information about procurement processes here, what's out there for in solicitations, and you're going to be able to track a lot of this stuff. However, unless you complete your profile, your company profile, you might be getting a lot of information, or you might not be even getting the right notifications because you haven't finished the setup of your company. One of the things that our procurement department is doing, and they're activating this feature from OpenGov, is that once you finish your setup, and that includes commodity or next codes that you perform. So any discipline, any task, anything that you do has a next code, an industry next code that matches that specific work that you do. So in this part, you are required, it is very much advised that you specify all the specific next codes that apply to your company for the work that you do. The reason for this is because the way the system is working now is that you're not going to get notifications for all of RTD procurements, even those that are not related to your industry or what you do. What we do through those next codes is the system is going to check if your next codes match what's needed from a specific procurement or solicitation, or it's part as a subcontracting opportunity for a specific contract. You will get notifications related only to those next codes that you have. So if you are a concrete company, you are only going to get notifications for concrete work where concrete is expected to be, a concrete firm is expected to be the prime, but also you're going to get notifications for contracts where concrete is used as as one of the tasks under the prime. So everything that is related to the next codes that you have already inputted in the OpenGov, you will get notifications only related to things that matter to you. That's why it's very important that you go through all the steps and make sure to include all the information for your company. You can even, like you see there, you can put your company logo, any certifications that you might need to complete your work. Also are encouraged you need to include that here. If you are an architectural firm, an engineering firm that needs certifications, you can add that here. You can add your next codes your next codes here, like I said. All of that information makes your profile more robust. So every time that RTD issues these solicitations, these notices for you, you're going to already have all the information in the system. You're going to be able to get the notifications once you get the information about any pre-bids, pre-proposal meetings. That's all part of what OpenGov provides. Now, once you have done all of these, like I said, free of charge, it will take you about 10 to 15 minutes to complete your registration. You can now go to the website again and check out our current solicitations, what we have up and going. If you go back again to the page of, the link for doing business with RTD, you can see there the second link showing in the arrow is a current solicitations link. Once you click there, you're going to have these four options. We're going to talk a little bit about current solicitations. I want to show you what to look for and what you can find in that link. But also, before we move forward, want to show you want to talk to you about these three. You can here also see contracts that have already been awarded. That way you can go back and check out, what's already up and running with RTD. See if you want to team up with somebody that already has a contract. This link over here is for contracts pending awards. These are the ones that have already gone through the solicitation process. We are maybe in the process of reviewing proposals or bids, and we are about to award those contracts. You can check those here too. And again, that gives you an opportunity to see what companies are involved already with contracts with RTD, so you can maybe reach out to them and offer your services. You also here have the upcoming solicitation link. Very important. This is projects that haven't been posted yet. They're not active for solicitation. However, you can take a look, see what they are about, at least check out the titles, and that allows you some time, right? If you see there's something coming that might interest you, it's not posted yet, but you know it's coming, you can start making some research, preparing your bid, your proposal, even without it being posted. At least you have that in the back of your mind, or you can mark that as an upcoming opportunity. Then we have the current solicitations link. Once you click on the current solicitations link, it's going to take you to this page that I'm showing you, these are contracts that are active. However, well, as you can see, these are a little bit old. The presentation was prepared a few months ago, but you will see an updated list of current solicitations that you can click on and see what information is posted, who are the people following, and how you can start following those specific contracts. So once you have a specific contract that you identify that you want to maybe find out a little bit more about, you can click on that contract, and it's going to take you to this page where you're going to have all of this information here, right? You're going to have project documents, downloadables, things that you can download to prepare your proposal or bid, addendums and notices. So throughout the process of solicitations, there's the period of questions and answers. You can submit questions. All those questions and answers are posted in this tab over here for the specific contract. And then you have your followers tab. Before I show you what that shows us, also please notice here at the top left, you have a lot of information that is important, right? You have the release date for the solicitation, the due date for the solicitation and the time. Usually, yeah, if it's a request for proposal, the department that is in charge, and a lot of more information is usually on this summary overview page. If you keep scrolling down, you're gonna see all of that information in the middle. However, the part that usually most of you are very interested in knowing is this tab over here, followers. When you click on followers, you're gonna be able to see all the people that have been downloading the information, people that are interested in this particular contract. You can find their contact information, the name of the company, email address. You can see here a designation that they identify themselves as a potential sub, as a potential prime. So you can contact them. You can say, hey, I see that you're interested in working on this particular contract. I can offer you these type of services. So this is the place where you can find out who's interested in that project and who would like to, who you can contact if you want to offer your services. I know that I've been going a little bit fast and going quickly about this information, but I want to stop here for a second and see, if there are any questions or if you guys have any comments. I don't know, Tony, if you can
Yeah,
check on the
so
chat.
right now I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, but maybe let's give them, 30 seconds or so, see if they want to ask a question on this particular section of the presentation. So we'll give, 30 seconds. You could raise your hand or you could type it in the chat, and, we'll find a way to get you unmuted so you could ask your question. But if there are no questions, we'll just continue forward in the presentation here in about 30 seconds. So.
Yes. One more thing, one quick comment about this page here. When you see all the contracts that are posted, You can also see the number, the addendas. If there are addendums to the contract, to the RFP or their IFP, you're gonna see here that number, and once you click on each contract, you can access each of those addendas. Questions and answers, those are binding. Every question submitted through B2G, those answers that we provide through B2G are binding. So that's why it's important that you have access and you can see what those addendums are and what information has been discussed before the award of the contract.
And Jose, you're good. No questions, so you continue
All
forward.
right. Thank you, guys. So now Tony's going to talk to you a little bit more about now certifications, SB certifications with RTD.
All right, perfect. All right, so my name is Tony Pinkham. I am the SBO certification specialist here. Hold on, let's see. We might have. I'd love to know about. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about RTD's SBE certification program, why you should take advantage of the free certification, the benefits of doing so. So a little bit of a rundown on RTD's SBE certification program. A lot of people aren't aware that RTD does have their own SBE certification program, separate from the city and county and the Department of Transportation. So it's ran completely by RTD, and it follows the DBE regulations is kind of what we mirror, but it is our own program, so we're kind of in charge of making our own decisions. So as far as what an SBE is, it's an independently operating small business owned and controlled by one or more economically disadvantaged individuals. So this is the main thing here, is this economically disadvantaged individuals. It's a race and gender neutral program. All we're focused on are the financials of the 51% majority owner or more of the firm looking to get certified. That's all we really care about, our gross sales of the company and the personal net worth of the majority owner of that firm. Next slide, please, Jose. So a little bit of a difference between the DBE certifications, SBE certifications, the DBE certifications, MWBE, all the acronyms kind of fall more under this side of things, and SBE's over here. So the main difference between the two, I'm going to go through each bullet point, but DBE certifications, it's required for federally funded projects, okay? So DBE, if you think DBE, you think federal funds. SBE certifications required for locally funded projects. So if you think SBE, you think local funds. So those are kind of the main difference between the two. Something I do want to highlight about RTD specifically is a majority of our contracts, somewhere in the 80-85% range are locally funded projects, which makes the SBE certification that much more important, because we deal a lot with more locally funded projects than we do on the federally side, but we do have federal projects as well with federal funding, but the majority of RTD's projects are SBE, locally funded projects. So if you're looking to acquire a DBE certification, the certification companies that do that, or agencies, would be Colorado Department of Transportation and the City and County of Denver. For SBE certifications, City and County does their own program, as we mentioned before, but RTD has our own program. So those are the two agencies, and along with Colorado Department of Transportation, that offer SBE certifications to you. RTDs is good with Denver Public Schools and Denver Water. We'll get into that a little bit later. But when you are DBE certified, your firm gets listed on the Colorado Unified Certification Program database, where people could search for your firm using keywords, company names, things of that nature. The difference for RTD is that when you are SBE certified with RTD, we have our own public-facing directory where we list all of our SBE certified firms on our website. Anybody could go in, utilize your services by filtering the database based off of NAICS codes, scopes of work, things of that nature. But RTD does have their own public-facing directory now that can be found on our website and also through B2G Now, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's a new database that we're starting to use, just like the city and county do. So DBE certification must be honored by all accepting financial assistance by the U.S. Department of Transportation. SBE certifications with RTD is good with RTD, Denver Public Schools, and Denver Water. So you could kind of think of it as a three-in-one certification. These are the agencies that we partner with that accept our certification: Denver Public Schools, Denver Water, and obviously RTD. So next slide, please, Jose. All right. So why should your firm become a certified SBE with RTD? So the first and most important is no cost for processing or certification. This is something unique that RTD does that a lot of other agencies nationwide do not do. We do not charge for the certification process, and as Jose mentioned previously, we do not charge for our procurement process either for registering in OpenGov. So everything through RTD certification and procurement is going to be free of charge to you. No cost marketing tool and increased visibility and contact with primes and agencies. Jose kind of explained this in the last section of the presentation, where you could go to that followers tab. People are going to see you. It's free marketing. It gives you an opportunity to reach out to larger firms to partner with. So it's a good marketing tool for you. You obviously do not have to be certified to do that, but if you are certified, you could put, SBE certified. Good marketing tool for you and your firm as well. So contract clauses like prompt payment, retainage release, and non-termination for convenience. So having to be paid within a certain time, regardless of if the prime's been paid by RTD. They cannot terminate you for convenience. So if they want to no longer work with that specific subcontractor, they have to have valid reasoning, and then it goes through a process through RTD to see if that reason is valid for no longer working with that particular subcontractor. So they can't just get rid of you for convenience. Opportunities to fulfill and count towards SBE contract goals on all locally funded projects, and invitations to pre-bid meetings. So this is all good stuff for you as well. Anytime there is a SBE or a solicitation or contract that comes out with an SBE goal attached to it, we have to utilize the small businesses within our database in order for those firms to reach their small business goals. So for example, if it's $1 million contract, 20% small business goal, 200,000 has to go to the small businesses, and we will utilize our database to find those small businesses for those primes to partner up with and reach their goals. So next slide, please, Jose. Here is a general list. I'm not going to go through all of these, but here is some of the scopes of work that RTD usually has available. We obviously don't know what's coming down the pipeline next, what's going to be needed in the future, but these are all things that we have worked with in the past. These scopes of work in particular, we don't just deal with, construction things. We have a whole wide variety of different scopes of work that we work with. Anything from catering, graffiti removal, snow removal, janitorial, custodial, some consulting work, software development, anything in between. So we do have a lot of construction related projects, but we don't want to prohibit people from applying for the certification program because they don't think that there's going to be, opportunities in their scope of work. So this is, typically the types of things that we see, but we are looking for anything and anybody to get certified regardless of what your scope of work is, because we don't know what we're going to need in the future. So this is just a kind of a general outline of the types of scopes of work that we deal with. So go ahead, Jose. All right, so does your firm qualify to become an SBE? So there are two main things that I kind of previously discussed that we're looking for when trying to grant SBE certification. The main thing is that the business must be owned, or at least 51% owned by one or more individuals whose personal net worth is less than, this number is a little outdated itself, but this number is now up to 2.047 million. So this 1.32 is no longer a thing. It's 2.047 million. And that does not include any ownership or equity in your primary residence, any IRA retirement accounts. Those numbers get backed out of the calculation. So this number is now 2.047 million and does not include those things, like I said, equity in the primary residence and IRA retirement accounts. So you could exclude those from your personal net worth calculation. Say there's, a firm that has three owners at 33%. two of those three owners will have to apply and have to meet all this criteria. So it won't be a 2.047 combined for both owners. It'll be 2.047 for one 33% owner and 2.047 for the other 33% owner. So same rules apply, but they're not a combined total. The owner must be a U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent residents, and then the average gross receipts for the business for the past 3 years cannot exceed. Now this is 31.84 million, so it went up just a little bit recently. We haven't made the updates just quite yet. So if you're anywhere close to the 31.84 million on a 3-year average, we could also accept an additional 2 years of business tax returns. So say, 2019, you had, not as favorable of a year as 2020 and 2021, and that'll bring your average down. We could go up to 5 years average to get you below the 31.84 million. The qualifying owner must demonstrate ownership, control, and independence of the business. So this is a main thing too, especially the control. Ownership's pretty easy to prove using tax returns. The control of the firm, so the person who is the majority owner, 51% owner or more, must have, be the end-all decision maker for the firm. So you could delegate authority, obviously, in some certain portions of your work, but the qualifying owner, majority owner, must have end all be all control of the firm, be the final decision maker, hold the highest position, so on and so forth. And the business must be independent, so you can't be, under a different firm who's calling all the shots and control of your firm. So these are, a few other things to keep in mind when applying. Next slide, please, Jose. All right, so what does the certification process look like? So first, you'll submit the application and the supporting documentations. Then I will do a preliminary review to accept or ask for additional information. You could usually expect probably about a 2-day turnaround in this stage here. Once I get the application and the supporting documents to see if there's anything missing, I'll reach out, let you know if there's anything additional that we need from you. Then I'll do a certification application review, so like a final review after this original preliminary review. A site visit when applicable, it's typically for manufacturers, to make sure that you do have, everything you need to manufacture the products that you say that you're manufacturing. And then we'll do a certification determination. We ask for 45 days max, but typically we could get you certified anywhere from 7 to 10 days. We'll get you certified and taken care of it. So it's pretty quick, it's free. And a lot of people already have this information ready because, they are certified through the city and county or CDOT. So you could just send that information over to us and we'll get you, going on our certification program. So next slide, please, Jose. All right, so what do you need to apply for RTD's SBE certification? First things first, the RTD specific SBE application. We've had people in the past try to submit application from city and county along with the personal financial statement or CDOT, but keep in mind that the RTD the SBE application has to be RTD specific. So it has to have the RTD logo on it, so on and so forth. Same thing with the personal financial statement for each owner who makes up 51% or more ownership of the firm. Like we said before, if there are multiple owners, you have to hit this 51%. However many owners you need to hit the 51%, provide the personal financial statement for those owners. One application is fine, but multiple personal financial statements might be required if you need multiple owners to hit this 51% ownership. Federal tax returns for the firm and all affiliates for the last 3 to 5 years. As we mentioned before, we like to try to limit the amount of documentation you need to provide. So we will only ask for the 5 years if for whatever reason we're having issues with that $31.84 million threshold. And we need, additional years to kind of get you below that threshold. But typically what we're looking for is 3 years of federal tax returns for the firm and 3 years of federal tax returns for each owner making up this 51% ownership. Along with this documentation, these are going to be the main things. We do request some supplemental documentation. On the application, it'll ask for, key personnel of the firm. So whenever you list somebody as key personnel, a resume is going to be requested as well to kind of support the fact that that key personnel has, experience as well as education if needed to be making those decisions based on behalf of the firm. Licenses and certifications required for the firm's operations. So things such as, if you're an engineer, engineering license, if you're an electrician, maybe an electrician's license, things of that nature that are required by the state for you to perform your scope of work. So necessary licenses for the firm as well as individuals in the firm providing those services. Certificate of good standing by the Colorado Secretary of State. You'll just go to the Colorado Secretary of State website, type in your firm, hit get certificate of good standing, and that's how you take care of that one. Certificate of trade name. So that's if you're a DBA doing business as a different company name than what your firm is registered as, you will need to get a certificate of trade name as well. Statement of foreign entity authority by Colorado Secretary of State. This is going to be required for firms that are registered outside of the state of Colorado. So say you registered your firm originally in Wyoming and you want to conduct business in Colorado, you will need to have a statement of foreign entity stating that you are able and granted access by the state of Colorado to perform work in the state of Colorado. So this is only required for firms that are originally registered outside of the state of Colorado. Itemized list of equipment and leased by firm. So this is mainly for, say you're a snow plowing company, you'll have to list, how many snow plows you have, or landscaping, what major landscaping equipment you have. If you're typically just, a small consultant or some things of that nature, we'll just ask you to make a quick document that says, normal office equipment is, the only equipment that you guys use, computers, things of that nature. Itemized list of available inventory. These are for suppliers, manufacturers, and this is when we would probably conduct that site visit if we need to. So next slide, please. This is going to be how you send your documents. So if you guys want this link here, this is going to be the best way to submit your documentation. So this just went live last Friday. So this is very new to us, but we're very excited about it. This B2G Now, it's the same database that the city and county uses and the Colorado Department of Transportation. So this one's fully digitalized, and you can do everything through this portal. So you won't need to send any hand documents or hand-filled documents. You won't need this secure upload portal anymore. We can still do it the old way if you'd like to with the paper application, and then you could upload your docs to this portal. But this B2G Now is going to be the best way to get your application done in probably the most effective way. So there are other avenues for you to submit your documentation, USPS, and then the secure upload, and you could email the documents to this email as well. So if you want to go that route, that's fine, but we highly encourage using this B2G Now. It's very user-friendly and effective. So lastly, let's see here. This is some more contact information, how you could get to that portal or the procurement portal that Jose was demonstrating. So you just go to rtd-denver.com, Business Center, DBE, SBE. You could send an email directly to that SBO or the SBO inbox. I manage this inbox, so I'll get your request. Alexis Serrano Castro is the SBO manager. I am the SBE certification specialist, and Jose, as we discussed earlier, is the SBO compliance officer. So he's very knowledgeable about the contracts and how to work with those. So with that being said, I do see a couple of questions in here.
Yes. There's a question about Tony. Christina is asking, she'd like to know about the certification. If they are certified with City and County of Denver as a WBENC, do we need to have a complete certification with RTD?
Okay, so Christina, I'm going to kind of break that down for you a little bit and the direction that RTD is hoping to go. So The short answer to your question is going to be no. So you don't have to be certified with RTD to do business with RTD. If you have certifications through the city and county, RTD is accepting those for the time being. What we're trying to do is during COVID, we had no certification specialists. So when we were during the COVID times, we didn't have anybody processing new applications. We weren't growing our SBE program. And obviously during COVID, we were trying to make things as easy as possible on small businesses because those were the people being affected the most by the pandemic. So since we're kind of post-COVID here a few years, everything's back and running. We're trying to separate ourselves a little bit from the city and county and accepting their certifications, and we're trying to utilize just RTD specific SBE certifications. But in order to do that, we do need to grow our database to the point where we could handle all the scopes of work that we work with, and then we could just utilize our own SBE certification database. So that's what we're looking to transition into. There's no firm date set in stone, but it would be a good idea to get the SBE certification through RTD so that you're ahead of that curve if and when those changes do occur. So you'll already have your SBE certification. You'll be ready to go when we do make those changes and we start utilizing just our database and not accepting any outside certifications. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, and Tony, I wanted to also add to that answer that RTD, everything over $10,000, any solicitation, procurement over $10,000 has to come through our office, has to be advertised. We need to review for goal, assess if we can set a goal, and then it's advertised. However, RTD also have a bunch of smaller, way smaller purchases or projects that don't require all that process. Sometimes a project manager can just, if it's a project that only gonna be $4 or $5,000, they need to repair something, they need to purchase something that is not gonna reach that $10,000. Our project managers, the first thing they do is they contact us and they say, okay, we need to do this for $7,000. Do you have a list of companies certified with us that could do this work? So they reach out specifically to RTD SBE firms because we can, because it's allowed, it's under $10,000, and because it's the list of certified firms that we provide to them. So by you being in that list is gonna also provide you opportunities in that way. So not just the overall, but smaller contracts, even without a goal that might not be solicited. You might get a phone call from RTD to see if you can help us out with that project. Okay, so we have also a couple more questions, Tony. What if you are a new business and I don't have the tax returns just yet?
Yeah, so that is not a disqualifier. Obviously, we'll still need to see your personal tax returns so that we could, do our evaluation on that, make sure your personal net worth is where it needs to be. But as far as being like a startup firm, not having any business tax returns is completely fine. We know there's some, new startup businesses that haven't completed a fiscal year yet, so they won't have any tax returns, and we do not want to discourage them from applying. So if you do not have any business tax returns, that's fine. Say even you opened your business a couple years ago, you haven't had enough, income in that business to have to file tax returns. That's completely okay as well. Not a disqualifier at all if you don't have your business tax returns as a startup company. So good question.
Yes, and the other thing, you already saw that comment by Jonathan. Apparently, the portal is not active just yet.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's news to me. So I'm
yeah,
thank you very much for bringing that up, Jonathan. I appreciate that. If anybody else wants to try that link real quick and make sure that it doesn't work, that would be very beneficial to me, so I could get it over to the B2G people and have them actually make it live because they said they were going to on Friday. So if anybody wouldn't mind doing that, if not, Jonathan, I'll take that screenshot from you, and I really appreciate it. So it worked for Holly. All right, so it looks like it worked for Holly. So,
so I can
um,
I can even I don't mind sharing with you guys my screen because I did click on that link so I can show everybody what I'm seeing. Uh, this is what you should see once you click on that link, and then you want to click on apply or renew certification, and it should show you this over here.
yep. And then if you don't have an account, you'll do the firm is not currently certified. You'll create an account, or you could also look up your account if you think you had an account in the past. So looks like the link is working, Jonathan. If you want to try to use the one that I sent through the chat, I'll do it again right here. This one should work for you, but I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. Was when you log in and try to begin the application? Okay, perfect. I'll definitely take a look at that, Jonathan, and see if there's an issue. So if we don't have any more questions, that's all we have for you guys today. We do encourage you at the very least to register as a vendor with RTD so that you can get notifications on potential opportunities. Strongly encourage you to get the free SBE certification. With this B2G Now portal, it is way easier than ever before to apply. So we do strongly recommend that you get in there, get ahead of the game, so that when we do make those changes and start utilizing RTD certifications by themselves, that you're already in the database, ready to go, and you don't have to play catch up. So if there are no more questions, we will definitely thank you for your time today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us. If it's more contractual type questions, Jose is probably your better source, as he's the subject matter expert on that. Anything certification related, I'm more than happy to help you out with. So
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. And yes, you have our contact information. Feel free to email us.
all right, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.